Oh, maybe this
I
is
will lose
all
it
right.
tomorrow morning, but I earn it today. Welcome to Cross Platform Podcast, where we discuss how to solve productivity problems across platforms. I'm Augusto Pinaud,
And I'm Art Gelwicks.
and in the tip section today, we are going to be talking, or you are going to start talking today about
Me.
Launcher and Pages and stuff. Ooh.
Me. Yeah, it is all me, isn't it? Uh okay, so tips. And I'm a big one for trying to find ways to simplify life regardless of what tool you're using. But this one's an Android specific one. And the reason why I'm going to call it out on here is because one of the things that Android allows you to do with most of the launchers that you have on Android is have screens separate from the listing of apps that you have on the device. So you can have multiple home screens, and then you have your app listing of all the hundreds of apps that you may have loaded. Well, what I suggest people do is create pages in your launcher home screens that are topic focused. So if someone were to pick up my phone and look at my launcher, and I use this right now, I use the standard Samsung launcher. I have a tendency to bounce from launcher to launcher just because reasons. But starting with the standard launcher, my first screen on my phone is the things I use most frequently. But the next one is a page of all work apps. The next page is a page of all shopping apps. And I know you can do that with folders and things like that in many of the launchers, but I found having that almost virtual desktop type of feel really makes it a little easier to focus when you're using that mobile device. So I don't know if Apple has anything similar within their launcher area.
And I was going to talk about that. So, and that was the reason I wanted you to talk about it. Um, because Apple, I think it was on the 15, on iOS 15, when they add the ability to do what they call focus. So I can choose when I focus pages. So I can say, okay, I want to create a focus. Okay, I can put all the applications in a page and then say, I want to focus into this. And then I can choose, it's not a launcher proper, but I can choose, show me only these applications, only these people can send message, or only these applications can send me notifications on these kind of things. That is really, really cool. So when I go to mass, there is one that for me, okay, that is I'm in mass, and then I have only access, there is no notifications, but I have access to my Bible, I have access to a couple of applications that are relevant for me, and everything else on the phone technically disappear. So you cannot do the launchers proper, but you can do something similar to that.
Yeah, that type of, I want to say, hyper focus around a particular grouping of activities I've found to be really useful.
Mhm.
And even not necessarily just on one device. We've talked about having multiple devices. If you have a tablet, creating those kinds of pages within the tablet that allows, here's all my streaming videos or streaming platforms, and here's all my reading tools and things like that. Like I said, you can bury them in folders,
Yeah.
but if it's something that you access fairly quickly and frequently, it's absolutely worth setting up a dedicated page for it. Second thing I want, well, here, it's your turn next. So you've added some things. So what's your first thing?
So my first thing is the Fisher's pen. Okay, they're cheap. You can get them on Amazon. Okay, the reality is most people don't use a pen every day. So the problem is when you finally get out of that bag, that pen, you start doing. The people's not seeing me. I forgot this is a podcast. Okay, but you start shaking your hand so the ink kind of get to the tip and you can write. The Fisher pens are pressurized, so you can pull them out and they will always write. Doesn't matter if it's cold, doesn't matter if it's hot. And if you like um, different kind of pens, you can just use the refills and put them in the pen if you don't want to have one of their designs for whatever reason, because you have favorite pen. And it is something that I recommend people get them, put them on your back, keep them all the way on your back because they will always run when you need them.
So I'm going to throw a couple of things on top of it for you because I love Fisher Space Pens. Couple things. One of the things that a lot of pen manufacturers will do is if they say they support Parker pens and
Hmm.
Parker refills. If you're watching the video, I'm holding up a Fisher Space Pen refill that
Yep,
has a cap that goes on the end of it that makes it compatible with Parker
with
pens.
Parker.
Wonderful little piece. It's a little piece of plastic, but boy, it makes life so much more useful and capable. The other is a little bit of a story. I went to basically a clearinghouse, for lack of a better term, they just like a warehouse of all kinds of junk and office supplies and anything like that. And I found a shoebox of old Parker refills. Now, when I say
Oh,
old, I mean these were like from the 80s and 90s. So I figured out of all this whole set, maybe I'd get one or two. And there was literally, I think the count was like 78 refills in this. And I got them for $20. So I'm like, okay, if I get 5 refills out of this whole thing that work, I'm ahead of the game. 2 out of 78 did not work. All the rest of them worked
wow.
wonderfully.
Two.
2 out of 78 did not work. All the rest of them worked just fine, which is a testimony to not only how well the refills are made, but the ink in them as well, because it is an oil-based ink. So if you're not now, it's not for everybody. It's not like writing with a fountain pen. I mean, it does have a specific feel you have to get used to, and the fine point ones can be a little bit scratchy. But if you want something that's just going to work, it's bulletproof. It's going to write, like they say, underwater, on greasy surfaces, wherever. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Those Fisher refills are worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I
mine,
still two,
go ahead.
only two
Only
failed.
2 out of 78. And the best part is not only are they all medium ones, I have black ones, blue ones, and red ones now. I found red ones. And it's great because they're the old style. Each one, instead of being the plastic blister packs like we're used to, these are all in little paper envelopes. And it's the old.
Nice.
I'll have to take a picture of it and I'll post it
Yes.
in Personal Productivity Community along with the show, or a Personal Productivity Club, so you can see what one of those old packs looks like.
That's
And there's a lot to be
awesome.
said for old stationery.
That's
And this is
awesome.
one of those novelty things. So yeah, I was the term stoked when I found that is not out of line.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm taking them all. I don't care. I'm taking them all. And it's been worth it since. I will not probably ever have to buy another Fisher refill. I use, just for reference, I have a couple of different Fisher pens, but probably the one I use most often is the regular barrel style, and
Uh-huh.
it's a clickable retractable, and
Right.
I carry it with me constantly. And one of the places I actually use it a lot is when I'm in my workshop, because a Fisher ink medium refill
And
works great
anything.
on everything. So I can like mark on wood, I can mark on plastic, and I'm not concerned about it. So it's just a tried and true tested tool. So definitely something worth getting. So my next tip is, we are getting towards that time of year. We talked about it a little bit in the topic section. It's getting cleanup time. Spring is coming, contrary to what the middle of the country right now is feeling. But spring will be here at some point. So spring cleaning is not far behind. One of the hangups that I know people have always had, I've always had, is that when you pack stuff into boxes and you put it away, you forget what's in the boxes. You have no idea what's in where. There's a trick that I used to do, I still do, and I recommend people do. It has a couple of steps to it, but makes life a lot easier. When you pack up one of those boxes, take a picture of everything that's going inside the box.
I love this
Have
tip.
it spread out. Pack the box up. Then you take that picture and you put it into, say, a Google Photos album. Now, this is where it takes an extra step, because what you're going to do is you're going to generate a QR code for the link to that album. And it's easy to do those. There's a ton of QR code generators out there on the web. You just get the shareable link for that album. You generate a QR code for it, you print it out, and then you tape that to the box. Why is that a big deal? Well, if you think about it, crawling around in your attic or in your eaves or wherever you're storing these, you can't go opening boxes to figure out what's in them. But if you have those codes on the outside, you can scan it, you can look at the photo and go, oh, that's what's in there, and be able to move to the next box and find the right one. If you really want to combine it, you can say, okay, I can number the boxes and do the lookups that way. But honestly, with as comfortable as we've gotten with QR codes during the pandemic, I found that this is probably one of the easiest ways to deal with those things that you just don't know what's in there. And it's not limited to stuff. It could be papers, it could be books, it could be photos,
Everything. No, I
whatever.
love that thing.
So it's a mental snapshot, but we're not actually storing it in our head.
So my next tip is simple tip. We all have now earbuds, and we talk about earbuds this week, and we do iPad and Samsung and whatever. But this can save everything.
Mhm.
Keep it on your bag. Put one in the bag. Be careful of something. If you have the old 3.5 connector, find the adapters so you can connect to USB-C, so you can connect to Lightning, so you can connect to whatever, because many devices do not have anymore a 3.5. But this thing, can be a solution of more problems than what you want to recognize. Episodes back, we talk about the Darth Vader fanny pack. Okay, there is one of these ones into the Darth Vader fanny pack, and it happened to me last week. I needed to go pick my kids, so I grab my iPad, run in the car, and I had only one of my AirPods in my ear, and I thought the case was. I touched my pocket, I thought the case was there, and I run. And when I got to where I picked the kids, I needed to wait an hour because I was waiting. The two kids were getting out of different times, and what I noticed is, oh, this thing is running out of battery. Okay, and I was like, but I was able to open the Darth Vader fanny pack and save the day.
There's a lot to be said for having a set of wired headphones handy. And even if, because they decided to take the headphone jacks out of phones, get yourself a converter.
The adapters, yeah, get adapters.
And a lot of the adapters now, you can get them that have the headphone jack and pass through charging. I have one of those. I keep it in my cable bag, and worst case scenario, you've got it. You've got it when you need it. You can plug in regular headphones. They won't die. The audio quality is good. You're fine. It's a great backup mechanism, and they're cheap. Matter of fact, the best set of, I want to say, under $100 wired headphones I've ever gotten was a set of Panasonic earbud headphones for $8 off of Amazon. And they work beautifully. And if I were to lose them, I would not shed a tear because I know I could get another set for another $8. Very easy. So my final tip for this week is an app I found on Android. I'm not sure if it's on Apple. We'll have to look and see. But it's tied to a service, and it's called Hi Hello. Now, if you've been on Instagram or Facebook, you may have encountered a lot of these ads for what I want to call smart business cards. They're basically, there's a service called Dot, for example, and it's a business card that has an NFC chip in it. And it's tied to a site that has all your information in it, your links and everything else, your profile page. And you don't have to hand out the cards. They just tap it and they get their information. Well, that's fine. I'm not totally sold on that idea because, one, you still have a physical card. Two, their phone has to make sure that they can read the NFC. There's a lot of barriers that could crop into play. Well, Hi Hello kind of surprised me. Hi Hello is an app tied to a website, and you create your own virtual business card with your picture and all your vital information in it. What I like about this is two main things. One, to share that business card, you can tap the card and say share, and it will provide a QR code on your screen that shares all your contact information directly over to them. That's one nice step. The second part, excuse me, is it's free. You can do a video card for a paid fee, but their basic business cards are free. It doesn't take very long to set up. You load your own photo. You can actually take a photo right from your phone and put that in there as well. Put your vital details. I have multiple cards in mine because I have cards for different reasons. And I don't have to worry, do I have cards? Do I have to get them printed or anything else? I think it's a really nice solution to this unfortunately awkward problem at times. And I don't think that the NFC chips are really the best option. They're an option, but I don't think they're the best option. Something like this, Hi Hello, I think they've done a really good job with
Yeah,
tackling this.
and it's available for the iOS,
Okay.
and you can do all that. I wasn't familiar, but I am going to be creating mine for sure.
Yeah, it takes very little time at all. Like I said, you can go right to their site, you can log in, you can create a card, and looking at the pricing plan, if you want to do their free plan gives you 4 business cards, share your card by QR code, email, text, or an NFC tag if you want. An address book with unlimited contacts, virtual backgrounds, email signatures, importing your Google contacts, and 3 paper business card transcriptions per month. So it will actually read a paper card for you. If you're going to use it more than that, the next tier is only $3 a month, and then above that is $6. So it will do basic contact management for you as well, which I think is, again, something that's pretty powerful because I'll be honest, the contacts app on my phone, the native one, kind of sucks. It's not, it doesn't have a lot of those capabilities that I would want. But something very basic here, if I go and I share my business card using Hi Hello and I
Mhm.
share it by email, that person's information goes right into my contact listing then. I don't have to make a conscious effort to put it into my contact listing. So it's already captured there. And I've started to create a contact card for it. So I like the service. I like the app. I'm going to be putting it to use. So
Good,
that's my tip.
good. Well, and with this, follow us where you like to listen to podcasts, like us or subscribe to us, and leave us a review. You can also interact with us in personalproductivity.club. We are Augusto Pinaud and Art Gelwicks, and see you next time from your favorite device. Thank you.